Friends, welcome back to the channel. I've got a mask on, I've got goggles on, and we've got a vlog going because in today's video we're going to be doing the insulation. Yes, we will be insulating this wall with bats, as they're called here. Not the kind that fly around, the ones that you stuff in the wall and that insulate your home. So I've got a bag full of bats. I have a couple more of those. And we're gonna be measuring them up, cutting them with that little knife there, and then friction mounting them. So just stuffing them in the gaps between the studs and the dwangs. I've also learned that dwangs are called noggins in Australia. A noggin in the United States is slang for your head. Now you know. Once again, this little creature is hard at work. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Sleeping all day. So what you do is you measure the gaps in the wall and then you cut them to measure. It's pretty straightforward. Usually you'd want to do this cutting on a piece of plywood that you don't care about. Because this part of the hardwood floor is going to be underneath the bath, I don't care about it. Now I'm going to do that for every single one of these gaps. It's a beautiful day, and we are very, very excited.
And we are very thankful.
And we're very grateful to Courtney and Elephant Plasterboard, because there we go, friends. It has arrived. Do you believe it? Could you believe it? You did it.
I believe it. Where there's a will, there's a way. And there was definitely will here. And it was exciting. Showed up at the hardware store and we were like, we haven't gotten a call yet. Has our plasterboard arrived? And they're like, oh, actually I think it has. And there it was.
It's very heavy, so we're gonna have to, we're gonna essentially unload it all, put it in the garage, and then we'll finish with the installation of the insulation. Say that 10 times fast. Installation of insulation, installation of insulation. Yeah, so the plan is we will unload all of the plasterboard and we're just gonna store it for now in the garage because I still have a little bit more work to do in the bathroom itself, prepping the space and installing the insulation. Installation of insulation. Installation of insulation. Installation. Sorry, sometimes I get distracted. And then we'll see. The reality is these boards are actually quite heavy and I haven't installed them ever before. So we're gonna ask around to see if there's anybody available to help me install, especially the ones on the ceiling. I'm envisioning being kind of logistically challenging. We'll see how we go. What do we got here?
We are, I should go grab my harvesting basket.
Look at those beautiful tomatoes.
And look at all these cucumbers.
Wow, those are perfect little pickles.
Yeah, I'm liking harvesting them at this size because sometimes we just let them get too big. So keeping a lookout on them. Tomatoes are doing well. That's why I came over here. So I was like,
And we
heat is on.
Got to get them before the birds do.
Yeah.
Friends, this is my favorite seat in the house. We got something to talk about. So I know that this video is jumping around, and if you've been watching my vlogs for a while, you've probably noticed that they have a tendency to jump around. And that's because we are quite literally all on this journey together. I'm just rolling with the punches, going with the flow. Yesterday we went to the local hardware store and we picked up our plasterboard. Yay! If you watched last week's episode, then you learned about the plasterboard chronicles, the drama of the jib board. And thanks to Elephant Plasterboard, we were able to get plasterboard that we need to move forward with the remodel of the bathroom. I'm a little bit hesitant to dive right in with mounting the plasterboard just because the sheets that we have are just adequate for the space. And seeing as how I've never done this before, I don't want to mess them up and then be in a position where we can't get another sheet to fix the problem. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm fully confident that I would be able to install the plasterboard on the walls, no problem. The only part where I'm a little bit nervous is the ceiling, because honestly, that's a job that you kind of need two people for. The boards themselves are kind of heavy and I just don't want to mess it up. I think that right now, with the situation that we're in, being a little bit cautious is actually a good thing. So what we've done is we were speaking to the plasterer who we've hired for the job. He's the person who's going to come in once the plasterboard is installed and tape up all the joins and cover it in plaster so that we can then paint it. And then after that, the tiler can come in, tile it. And then after that, the plumbers can come in, install all the stuff. The electrician can come in, make sure that all the electrical appliances are working, that the lights are installed, and then the bathroom renovation is complete. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. I spoke to the plasterer. He has installed plasterboard before. He's a big guy, and we essentially asked him if he wants to come out a day before he was supposed to come and plaster and just help with the installation of the plasterboard. He's game for it. So that's great. That's gonna happen next week, which puts me in a bit more chilled situation. I have some time to finish the installation of the installation of insulation. That has essentially freed up a little bit of time. I am going to build a niche for the shower area where we'll be able to put like our shampoo, soap, and whatever. It's gonna be built in between the studs, and that'll be nice. But other than that, we're gonna put the bathroom reno on hold because there's something else that's pretty pressing that needs to get taken care of. And that is firewood, staying warm this winter. And how do we take care of that? Well, we take care of that. Sun protection. No, not sun protection, although that's definitely good to have. An axe and a chainsaw. There's a couple of things that need to get taken care of down here. This is the little boundary area of our property, and this pond as well as the creek are all lined with lots of different trees, but primarily willow. This one behind me, this branch came down in a storm, and I haven't had the right tools to clear it out of here. I have a weed whacker that has an attachment for a pole trimmer, which is essentially like a little mini chainsaw on the end of a pole, which will help me cut that off. So I'll be able to clear this out. But there's a lot bigger problem further down the line. Let's take a look. No, the bigger problem is down here along our boundary fence where a tree has been felled and it's just been stacked up on top of itself in this mangled pile. You know, this is all good firewood. Willow's not the best firewood, but you know, it burns and we have it and it's here, so we might as well use it. So what I started doing a little bit earlier was just collecting some of the pieces that had already been chopped, taking some of the longer branches and limbing them, and then kind of breaking them down into smaller stuff, which we'll chop up into kindling later. But I want to get these big pieces chopped into usable firewood. But it's almost like before I can even get in there, I gotta clear a lot of this stuff out. So this is a big job, and you can see that the wood has broken the fence right there. And oftentimes our neighbors have cattle in here, and the cattle have gotten through this fence before because it's broken. And we don't want cows in here because they'll eat all of these young trees. There's so many cool young trees planted here, lots of native trees. And our little avocados that we planted a while back, which are actually doing pretty well. They did get munched real hard the last time the cows got in. There's so many sticks and twigs around here that it's actually hard to walk. So what I'm gonna do is be super careful, but I'm gonna just start trying to clear this area out, get it to a manageable state, salvage what I can for firewood, and then pile up the stuff that is too small to use. Talk to my neighbor and ask if she minds if I just take the extra deadfall from the whole fence line and just pile it up on the other side, because her paddock over there has way less trees and it would just be a safer way to do it. Before we get there, there's a lot of work, a lot of saw work, a lot of axe work that needs to happen back here. Obviously, first and foremost, I have my safety equipment. I've got my helmet with a little face shield and ear protection, steel-toed boots, a pair of chaps that are protective. I think they're Kevlar. So goal is no accidents. Let's get into it. Hello, Frida and Diego. Have you guys seen wattles lately? It's been a long time. All right, well, we're making some good progress over here. Got quite a bit of wood cut. There's still a lot left to do, but feeling good about it. It's really satisfying work, honestly. You know, there's something innately gratifying about harvesting firewood, because you know the work that you're putting in now is going to keep you and your family warm in the cooler months ahead. But I do wonder, I haven't seen wattles in a long time. A lot of you have been asking what happened to wattles. If you're new to the channel, wattles was a little duckling that waddled its way into our life right when we moved here. And we helped it survive, nursed it to health, and then it became good friends with the two resident Peking ducks, Frida and Diego. Kind of grew up with them. Last we saw wattles was right before, in the early days of the cyclone, and she had 3 new friends, all of which were female mallard, same species as she is. All 4 of them were hanging out. They were with Frida and Diego, but the last we saw her, she was hanging out with a girl gang. And I got a feeling she went into town because there's a lake there and it's chock-a-block full of lots of young eligible bachelors. So I think that's what happened to wattles. Do you want to say hello to the vlog? Yeah, you do. This is my neighbor. He's a legend. Okay. Rise. So this is a hunt away for all of you out there. This is this is the only breed of dog from New Zealand, right? So this is a hunt away, and a hunt away is a dog breed from New Zealand. They're herding dogs, and they're known for their super loud bark, because back in the day, before quad bikes and all those things. When you were a shepherd, you'd have to be walking over the super hilly countryside in New Zealand, and your dogs would run off to find where the sheep are, and you'd have to use the bark to locate them. And if I'm right, I think they have some Rottweiler in them. Their faces, I think they're part Rottweiler, or maybe part Doberman. I don't know, he looks like a Rottweiler. And then this is a heading dog, right? And these type of dogs are the ones that run out to the front of the herd of sheep, and they'll essentially keep the sheep from running too far forward, and that will be able to keep the sheep in a herd. And then using different types of whistles, the shepherd can control what the dogs do, which controls where the sheep go. It's actually super fascinating stuff. Cue this drone shot. Good morning and welcome back to the vlog. It's been a solid little morning down here. Well, I used the chainsaw last night and chopped a lot of firewood, and then this morning I was down there with the splitting axe. Splitting the logs into nice little pieces of firewood. I've gotten through half of the pile so far, but I need to go get some more chainsaw oil, and we also have a delivery to make. Once again, we're making a little delivery to our friends over at Little Farms because we have so many grapes, you guys. Like, it's crazy. It literally smells like grape bubblegum in here. It's so nice. And obviously we're gonna keep some of these and eat them. But this is just, it's too much. It's too much for us, so we're gonna sell the surplus on down the line because we know that Little Farms will help find good homes for our grapes, for our little grapes. All right, friends, well, once again, big thank you for making it to the end of this week's video. I know that the vlog's jumping around, a lot happening, but I do feel pretty good about all the progress being made in all the different areas around the property. Still got a lot to do, some rain forecasted for the next couple of days, so I definitely want to get out there and get the wood transferred over to the woodshed so it's protected from the upcoming storm. You can kind of feel it in the air. It's supposed to rain a little bit later today, so I'm gonna end the vlog here. Also, next week, top of next week, my birthday is coming up. I'm turning 34. Can't believe it. Where does the time go? It's crazy. It just keeps getting faster. Years go by like that now. Anyways, once again, huge thanks for making it to the end of this week's video. Stay tuned for next week's video. Lots of updates coming up. And also, big news, we are going to be doing the Milford Track, which is one of the most famous great walks here in New Zealand. That's coming up at the end of the month, so keep an eye out for that. I'll also be doing an updated camping gear guide, my minimalist camping gear guide. So keep your eyes peeled for upcoming content. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed already, click that subscribe button. We're getting close to 80,000 people here on the channel, and that is awesome. So I really appreciate all the support, all the kind words, and we will catch you in next week's video. Have a good weekend. Peace.